Craig. But the only two North American players at this event are going to be Staking and Quinn. And if we're going to talk about other North American players, we have to give an honorary mention to Crit. He spent most of his career playing in North America. And don't forget about Skeeter. He had a small time on Team Optic with PPD in the past. And of course, let's not forget AUI 2000. So if you are a fan of NA Dota, this may be the team that you should be rooting for.
I'm sorry. Thank you so much, crowd. That is fantastic. As we welcome the opponents. Now, this team is no one to underestimate, although many of us did after that horrific group stage. They have seemed to have found themselves yet again. Let me remind you, these guys won the last big event. Let me remind you, these guys have beaten Falcons in the past. And let me remind you, this team has Pure on it, which is pure goddamn terrifying. Get your yeehaws together. Get ready to bring them out. They've been known by many names, but today they'll be known as champions, maybe. Let's bring out BetBoom!
Undoubtedly one of the, if not the most individual skilled teams in all of Dota. BetBoom recently reminded us just how dominant they can be. Finding themselves in an unfamiliar lower bracket territory, BetBoom took a convincing 2-0 victory over Enigma Galaxy just yesterday. And with this momentum building, we'll just have to see if they can continue to soar above Falcons in this upcoming series.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for this match. If I could please have the esteemed captains meet me at the center of the stage. It is time for the very non-toxic shit talk segment. Just kidding. Be nice to each other, for God's sakes. They're professionals. Welcome, any captain from BetBoom. That was, the slow swagger. God damn, I thought he wasn't going to come over. I got nervous. All right, let's start things off. Pure, any words to say to Snake King? In case you don't recognize him, this is Snake King. Do you know who this is?
I don't know who this is.
Okay, great. Any words to say to Snake King?
Nothing to it.
Nothing to say? Not a goddamn thing?
Not a goddamn thing.
Holy beast! Sir, anything to say to our boy over here?
I'm sorry, but tie bounds are eliminated unless that's what you want to be as well. So you might want to say something.
Oh my God! I rarely do this. Would you like any kind of response, or are we staying on the Giga Chat?
I mean, I just wanted to talk with some Mario guy, but I got Snake in here, so it doesn't really matter what I'm gonna say to him. It just makes no sense, you know?
Jesus. All right, well, I'm sure you guys don't actually hate each other. Let's go ahead and shake hands. All right, gentlemen, come on, shake hands. Let's get this party started. Are you ready for the match of the day, baby? Let's get it on.
To stay alive here at ESL Raleigh. BetBoom versus Falcons, a matchup that we all love to see happen, a matchup that generally we expect to happen maybe on the final day of an event, but now one of these two teams will not breach top 6 here at ESL Raleigh, and I think for both teams, and that goes with or without standing. I think for both teams, that would be a disappointment. So let's see what we got coming here. These two teams, what kind of Dota are we thinking, Fear? How much are they going to stray away from what happened yesterday?
So I think for Falcons, I'm a little unsure because they've been kind of experimenting a lot. But I think for BetBoom team, you want to try to save his Ringmaster if possible. And I think what Fly said earlier means a lot as well. Miro, he didn't have the most impressive performance, or maybe wasn't on the most comfortable heroes at the beginning. But him getting more comfort picks, maybe potentially playing around him a bit more, is something BetBoom does need to focus on.
Yeah, they seem to be setting up Miro more and more over the course of the tournament. On the side of BetBoom, he has one of the most diverse hero pools of the tournament, playing 9 different heroes. So far, a lot of it's either giving him a later pick in the draft or picking a hero earlier on that is into being a flex pick, like the offlane Kunkka, so that it can't get hard countered in lane. And I feel like all these teams that are left, the top 5, all have their own identity and their interpretation of the meta, and it's just going to create such interesting dynamics between each individual matchup.
I mean, one thing, I'm not sure looking at the screen, like, who actually has the choice here? I'm very curious about this. Do we know?
Between first pick, second
yeah,
pick,
who chose what?
I'm sure we can find that information somewhere.
Because in their previous series, Falcons had second pick.
Yeah, I'm thinking second pick had to have been a focus here because, okay, here we go, priority selection.
Okay, so Falcons pretty much always chooses second pick, and BetBoom always chooses first pick. So
Yeah.
it's almost inevitable we're going to end up here, whichever one the other one chose.
Teams turn to battle.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense there. Like, you see the Ringmaster do get banned out. Some of the usual suspects here. I think whenever you do play versus Amari, you just kind of have to ban that Bristleback, one of his best heroes of this patch currently. There's still a Tinker. What else is in the pool?
We got Ancient Apparition, we got Jakiro, so I think some of the strong supports are in, which is usually the focus. I think also Keeper of the Light is in, another hero that's been looking really good throughout this tournament. And Jakiro is banned, so they take the other one.
As we can see here, by the way, it was BetBoom that chose first this time around. So then they go for first pick.
That is very interesting, considering yesterday they were second pick, and they have lost to Falcons when they were first pick twice now on BetBoom. So, okay, they have a plan. We'll see what it is. I'm very curious. I like it when you kind of go into a series when you know what the opponent likes. So they know Falcons is second pick pretty much every single game, which means they have a plan and they can kind of predict a lot of what Falcons is going to do.
Is that how do you choose to decide, like, prioritizing what you're most comfortable in versus knowing thy enemy, basically?
It's a lot about yourself and knowing, for example, can I utilize second pick better? Do I have players who are really good at last picking heroes, which I think BetBoom does, actually. I think they have some very diverse players. But I think it's also like, if we pick certain heroes, so for example, they probably planned on getting a first pick, maybe a Jakiro, maybe a Coddle, and building a draft around that, which is going to be hard for Falcons to get a juicy last pick. We're going to have to see how it plays out, but I think AA is already a decent response to Coddle, because Coddle is also kind of like the pseudo healer right now. He buys Holy Locket. When you go for Tormentor, you know he's going to heal your team. And Ancient Apparition is already a counter to that. And I think you also get a pretty good lane against Coddle, because again, I think Ancient Apparition is a hero that has to be punished in lane, and Coddle doesn't really do that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think right now, if you look at Coddle, he's like really strong playing the map, obviously, with the recall. He has good heals through the Illuminate. He has good team fight with the Aghanim Scepter coming out. I think the one weak point this hero does have is the laning is kind of underwhelming. It's almost a free lane for the enemy carry. Just kind of like stack a lot with this type of hero and get your farm that way. And yeah, you're not punishing AA, and AA does shut down that heal aspect as well. It's always very surprising when that Holy Locket comes out with the Illuminate full heal. It just full heals any hero in a team fight. It's pretty crazy.
I was wondering, Fly, because I saw for Kataomi's stats for BetBoom that the team is 2-5 when he's not on AA or Jakiro. And like, do you ever feel that as a position 5, it's paramount, like what hero you're playing in order to have like the entire cohesion of the team vision work, or is that sometimes just a coincidence?
Oh, I think it matters. It matters a lot. I think depends on the player, of course, and depends on the team. But there's always going to be, like, in some ways, the position 5 is sort of like the rock of the formation of the whole team. Like, he needs to give your carry a good lane usually, or he needs to synergize well with the other heroes. And especially in this meta where the supports are so powerful, say you pick an Ancient Apparition like we saw yesterday, and then they build a draft around that. They pick this Dragon Knight, they pick heroes like Kunkka. Like, everything is actually revolved about the Ancient Apparition in a way. You know, maybe I'm a little biased here, but I think that's how it goes.
He needs setup for sure. So if you're not picking to enable his Ice Blast, then he's pretty useless. That makes sense.
And I think something interesting to note is that Falcons historically has always drafted a lot of flex heroes on second pick, because their players share a lot of heroes, right? They usually have Malorine and ATF who share a lot of like these weird heroes. Like, it used to be obviously Huskar would be one of the ones, like Timbersaw, Viper, and now they just pick Ember Spirit, which is, I would say, more of a Quinn hero, right? Like, I know Amar did play it at some point.
He has, yeah.
But now it's like, okay, Quinn shares this hero. We're gonna go in a different direction. We're gonna go with this Ember, which I think is cool. I wanna see what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Quinn definitely wants to play it. Just worst case scenario, which probably won't happen because of A, is like they pick a Huskar, then maybe ATF will play it off lane, then you pick a Sniper or something mid. But in this one, they want him to play that for sure. And Crystal Maiden comes out. I guess the root is pretty good versus Ember, but also doesn't feel great getting Slight spammed as well in the mid game.
I think most supports are pretty bad against Ember.
Yeah.
I think CM is one of the better ones, although again, just we talked about it before, I think ending with a Crystal Maiden doesn't feel that great. I think you have purpose here, which is good. You see an Ember, so I know from my perspective I can go mid and kind of annoy this guy, maybe even set up a kill. And also really like Beastmaster against Ancient Apparition. I think it's one of the best matchups in the game because you don't do anything to summons, so you can get a free lane. And I was wondering what Falcons is going to pick here, because they usually pick Skitter's hero here, because they want to save the Ember for mid or off lane. And now they go this Tidehunter who can also go multiple roles. We have seen Skitter play this in the past. It's a good matchup against Beast. It protects the Ancient Apparition, which I think is really important. You need to make sure this hero doesn't just get absolutely demolished by some Beastmaster. So I think it's cool, and it leaves Falcons with a pretty good 24 pick because their draft is already well-rounded, that they can do a lot of different things.
Is this ever a Skeeter Tide? Because we haven't seen it this patch specifically, but Falcons has Flex Tide to carry, and it is a good matchup in-game as well as potentially in lane against the Beastmaster. I think it's a really good pick because there's nothing that addresses it so far on the BetBoom team, like they are reliant on this Beastmaster initiation. But Sniper, a hero that's usually quite good against Ember, but I think is susceptible to ganks in the mid lane, so we're probably going to see the 6-hero mid at 6 minutes as we've been seeing very often. And I guess my question is he going to end up buying a Silver Edge? What's their plan now for the Tidehunter?
I'm thinking right now because I think what the Sniper pick means is that they're actually, in a way, they're kind of going away from what their heroes want because they have this Keeper of the Light, which in my opinion doesn't really have a combo this game. He's okay with Beast in the lane, but you know, who are you going to give mana to cast multiple spells? It's probably a Crystal Maiden, sure. It's not as scary as like an Ember Spirit or a Storm Spirit. So they kind of go with the Sniper, trying to be more lane dominant. I think they're like, okay, if they're going to put Ember mid, we're going to put Sniper, we're going to have Crystal Maiden rotating on this guy so he can't have a game. And I think this is more of like a counter-picky style, as opposed to what I saw yesterday from BetBoom, where they're like, let's fully enable the heroes in our draft. I don't see the purpose for this coddle yet, and I would like to see something with it. I'm not sure what it is, maybe Terrorblade, but even then, like, is that good enough?
I don't know if they're gonna have a combo with it, with just the way they're drafting currently. It seems a little difficult. I mean, I have seen Pure play Sniper in the safe lane, which technically could be an option as well. Like Slardar or something they've played mid, which is like a mediocre combo, I wouldn't say with Coddle, but it is something that could do well versus Ember as well. But yeah, as far as combo goes, I don't think there's anything that good that's really left here, other than just stacking for Beast, I suppose, and playing the map.
Yeah, I think the vision they have on BetBoom, I agree there's no combo, but it is, Sniper's one of the best at securing his mid tower, making sure it's really difficult to invade their side of the map with the multiple shrapnel charges. So I think Coddle's going to be purely about enabling Beast to hit his like really early timings and also feed him mana so that maybe he can even go like Brown Boot state into Ags without going back for the Arcane Boots. I guess what I'm thinking is it also enables Sniper, a hero that's I think's biggest weakness is mobility on the map. He usually can't do like what the Nature's Prophets, the other popular like ranged right clicker this patch, where they can just farm obscure parts of the map. But with a Coddle, that's something that you can absolutely do. So I think he's more of a farm enabler this game in regards to the early game secured stacks, but then later on the map mobility aspect. I'm actually really liking the way BetBoom's envisioning this game, but also if they fall behind at all, I feel like their plays are incredibly limited unless they directly answer this tide in their...
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing, though, that Sniper pick, where I feel like it needs to be a little bit flexible, is what's left to play for Pure? Like, TA's gone, you don't have Ursa, you don't have Lifestealer, Gyro's gone, Bristol's gone, Tiny's gone. Like, all these heroes that are good versus Tide in lane just don't exist anymore. So, unless they want to go the route of, like, some Razor or something...
What about a Sven, maybe? Could look good with their draft. Some hero that goes in for their, like, Sniper. I know Tide gets the free farm,
yeah. But you kill him later, right?
Yeah.
You have so much damage, so that was a trade you could make, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, they're not going to get a premier pick, but yeah, something like a Sven that could just eventually do the job, get in there for the Sniper, is something they need from their safe lane. That's why they banned out the Ursa. Would have obviously been the best pick. Was a little surprised they didn't pick it there instead of the Sniper, but they must have a backup plan.
And the nice thing about Sniper is that you don't need to worry about too many mid matchups. They actually banned the two heroes that can catch a Sniper, like Mars. You know, you cannot get away from the arena very easily without BKB. Yes, sir. Bring more tournaments to NA. I'm all down for that.
Agreed.
I think he had a lot of fans on this end, for sure. All right, final picks coming in for both teams. We mentioned at the very start of the series how maybe more important overall last pick is. Do we feel like Falcons can still, you know, throw a wrench in it to throw BetBoom off?
I think the only wrench you can throw is the Tidehunter carry, which maybe that's actually what they're expecting, because BetBoom actually banned out two offlaners. I will say I was a huge Wraith King fan going into this event. I'm still surprised that he's not getting picked up more. Ari Vision is one of the few teams left that has really highly prioritized the hero, so cool to see BetBoom team whipping it out. I'm almost thinking it might be offlane Wraith King and carry Beastmaster. That's something they've done as well. I think they've got a lot of flex potential on the lanes on the side of BetBoom team, more than I think this draft would look like it would have, I guess, historically with the way these heroes are usually played. So I think there's a lot of extra mind games going on here. Both teams are at least making it difficult to counter them.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at BetBoom's team, like, they have so many options, technically, what they could do. We've seen Beast in the mid lane before. We see Wraith King in the off lane. Like, you can't really pinpoint, like, this is exactly where their heroes are going to go. You just have to take, like, an educated guess. And ideally, pick a hero that's good for, I suppose, Beast and Wraith King on the side lanes.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe there could be an angle for something like Darks here, but then your win condition's so weird. You know, like, you don't have a hero that can just straight up hit towers or take objectives very easily. So I'm trying to think something else, but like a Sven or a Terrorblade can kind of lane okay against, I would say, both those heroes. And more traditional could be okay as well.
When you see the draft like this fly, you talked earlier about how you're surprised maybe that BetBoom went for first pick this time again. Do you see the plan that they had going in to try and deal with Falcons' preferred second pick?
I definitely see, especially with getting like Beast and Sniper, two heroes that make it kind of complicated for you to pick heroes around. I think they're making it difficult. And okay,
it's an old
is this the first of the tournament?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
it is.
There's one player I thought might pick this is Skeeter. He usually likes the stunners when they have an AA, and he loves like the CKs and the spins. But Alchemist specifically, what I like the most about this is he's great at punishing greedy lineups, and that's exactly what BetBoom team has shown. Wraith King's another like Radiance farmer, and then also when you kill the skeletons the first time, usually you get no bounty for it, but Alchemist actually double dips on the Grievel's Greed with those. You can get like 400 gold if you kill an army of skeletons. So carry to carry matchup in the early to mid game heavily favors the Alchemist. I actually like Falcons draft a lot better now. I think the Alchemist, despite not being meta, is exactly the type of tempo punish that they needed to basically make BetBoom not feel as comfortable with their farm heavy draft.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the big purpose of the Coddle in this draft either that we wanted to see. It's kind of shut down with the AA, with the heal aspect. The giving cooldown reduction, I guess it's okay with Wraith King, but not so much on a carry Wraith King as well. So I definitely like what Falcon has got going on here, but can't underestimate the BetBoom snowball. Beast and Sniper and Wraith King get off to a good start. They can control the whole map.
Yeah, the way I see this game is that BetBoom has to pressure mid. They have to pressure it heavy with Crystal Maiden coming there, with the Sniper, because I think this Tide is completely free. Like, nobody can do anything to him. He's going to have a free lane, bottom lane. He can run anywhere he wants, and he's going to be the king for a long time. And eventually, if this game goes ultra late, like, say, 40 minutes, I think that's when BetBoom is going to win the game, actually. So I like what Falcons has going for them more. I think their draft is easier to play. The only way it gets, I would say it's going to be troublesome is if mid lane goes horrible and if top lane goes well for Beast. It's the only way I think Falcons will lose, or if it goes ultra late game. But I'm going to go with Falcons with this one.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier maybe some extra focus on the supports, as we do see the odds popping up here on the screen. How do we feel about the support duos in this game, Brian? Is there any particular support duo you favor?
I would much rather be the Falcons. They got a lot more plays to make early on.
All right, well, let's see what's going to happen. It's time for the first game of the day, the first game of the series, so let's head straight into the action.
Claws out, join with me, we fight as one.
BetBoom versus Falcons here, game number 1 in the arena. Raleigh, let me hear you. How are you feeling today? Zach, we got a treat here. It is an unbelievable elimination series to kick things off. I did not expect to see these two teams in the lower bracket, but here we are. How excited are you for this one?
I'm really excited because you could swap any of these upper bracket, lower bracket teams and they would make sense as a grand final. So every single series from now on is going to be insanely hyped. They could be the champions of the tournament. The strategies we see now could carry all the way to the end. So I am very excited to see what goes on in this game.
And the first time we've seen the Alchemist here at this main event, and to be honest, we did not have a lot of high hopes in this hero in some previous tournaments. The stats were not looking super great, but this is definitely a comfort pick for the side of Falcons. And I hope that they've done some experimenting, right? You know, with the API data being hidden, maybe they've cooked up something new. I'd like to see that and hope that that's the case. But an overall really good draft from BetBoom as well.
Yeah, I think we've seen a similar draft before, this Crystal Maiden Caudal combo. It's so much mana for your team, and then it's a sniper, and that's kind of strange. Usually you see the Storms, the Tinies, the Embers, banned out or stolen by Falcons this time. I've got my eyes on Miero. I think he is going to absolutely pop off. Shout out, this is me thonking. That's the emote right there. What's going to happen here? Beastmaster has so much mana. He's going to have so many stacks. He's going to throw his axes everywhere. He's going to farm up the ags. And that's going to bring the tempo against the Alchemist. I don't know if he's going to have time to farm.
That's so cool your family's here. I got to just say, that's so sick. I'm happy they could make it.
Trying to embarrass me out there.
No, just trying to
embarrass myself right here.
Yeah, it's like trying to embarrass them. That's probably more important. Crit bottom lane, taking a lot of damage, but we'll just TP back up towards the top side. So that's going to be a long walk back to the lane, though, now that I think about it. Like, he TP'd all the way home. I thought maybe he's TPing to a tower, but that will be a long time you're leaving the Tidehunter alone in the lane.
Yeah, fortunately, it is a Tidehunter who is one of the most stable offlaners, and he might actually benefit from this, because when you get to pick up a couple extra levels, right, you actually become even tankier, especially versus Wraith King, who, if you use the skeletons, it's a lot of little damage, which is exactly what Kraken Shell can protect you from, though you usually wait a couple levels to get it, like level 4. But we'll see if he wants to pick it early versus this Wraith King.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. I'm always curious to see what people want to do on the Tidehunter. Now, this one, we're not seeing the Kraken Swell. All right, that was an option we've seen some people opt for, but this game will... Oh, wait, is it Kraken Swell?
Yeah, this one's Kraken.
Oh, it is Kraken Swell.
Because he wants to protect himself
from
the boys.
You're right. Oh, and a little bit of a pause. Okay, hold up. Let me hear from Raleigh really quick. How are you guys feeling today? All right, I want to play a little game with you all. All right, on the count of 3, I want you to shout your favorite hero, okay? 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, that's not bad. Can we get security to remove all of the people that said Shadow Shaman, please? That would be fantastic. Thank you.
Shadow Shaman's a great hero.
Who would you pick? Who do you want removed, Zach?
I don't know.
All right, we'll come back to that one. Yeah, we'll come back. As we go back into the game here, mid lane is, of course, going to be Sniper versus Ember. A little bit of a rough lane for Ember Spirit. And one of the things I like to highlight, both of these teams like to play around the mid lane, enable them. I think that's why we saw the early pick for the Ember Spirit of Quinn, which actually really nice pressure here with the chains, but we've seen him really pop off on these types of heroes before, especially when he has a good start and kind of just snowball the game away. Now, you don't really get that with a Sniper, so I am curious how BetBoom plans to kind of build their momentum as we get into the mid game.
Yeah, we usually see the very mobile heroes who only need level 6 and suddenly can make plays, especially when you have the Crystal Maiden and the Caudal. Sniper not really that type of hero. So maybe the goal is that he will shut down the Ember, because you were saying, both teams want to do it. And if Ember just doesn't have a great game because he's having a rough time, then, they can't play around it. And it's a stand-in effect. You're the full team, so you're feeling a bit more comfortable. You can also rotate him around with a recall, right? Maybe we don't think of Sniper as a highly active hero, but if you're just being teleported around the map, then...
It's his short legs, really.
He's got a giant sniper rifle. It's really tough to walk around.
Yeah, we'll see. I actually didn't really consider the fact that Caudal, that's something that this team has had. Let's be real. This is the best Caudal team in the world. We've seen Save absolutely orchestrate games just like a master composer, putting everything on his back, carrying his team around everywhere they need to be. And we'll keep our eyes on that as we get further into the game, but I think you kind of have to pick and choose the poison playing against BetBoom. Like, do you want him to have the Ringmaster, the Caudal, even the Muerta is something that we've seen him play a ton, but this game it will be that Keeper of the Light, and he is insanely talented on it.
Radiant structures.
Yeah, I think he'll just end up choosing to go with the Beastmaster this game, because there's nothing that says it has to be the mid laner. You can play around whoever, and Beastmaster is such a fast-paced hero. Quinn doing all right for himself so far. He should hit level 6 at a decent time at this pace, and that's where he'll start to move around the map, because you do have to make space for this Alchemist. It's not found as much success lately. The idea is still there, but we used to look at the net worth and see Alchemist 1,000, 2,000 ahead at 10 minutes, and now it's never really that different. I think he got nerfed too much and just never has as strong of a start. But
the map changes also hurt a lot.
Clearly, if you believe in yourself as a team, right, you're like, we're going to give him a good start. We're going to be fine. You can still go for the comfort picks like the Alchemist.
Okay, so I just was looking, I was like, he's not finding anything in this top lane. His net worth just more than doubled, so I'm guessing he cleared a stack behind the tower or something, because he was sitting at like 8 or 9 CS in the lane, so Snake King trying to salvage what is a pretty rough lane with the Caudal Beastmaster, the constant axe spam, the boars, stuff that you're just not great at dealing with. Like Ancient Apparition, not a super strong lane hero, but once we see that level 6 come out, that's when we're going to be seeing Falcons try to get a lot more active and finding these openings. You know, pointed out in the panel, you love to have these kind of stun heroes with the with the AA pairing, so that's why they go for something like an Alchemist here.
AA is also great at stacking. He did one right there off screen, so that's some of the farm that Alchemist is going to. If you aren't having the most fun in the lane, getting hit by Illuminate spams, which maybe Save's coming to steal some stacks. I mean, you can't steal them right now, but you'll set up. You know they're here.
He's just casually walking by like, oh, okay, I'm in vision, but what are they going to do? Bottom lane, Amar getting left alone quite a bit, which is kind of the Tidehunter experience, right? This is just kind of typical. And there's a lot of stacks being made in the triangles as well. So Falcons really prioritizing the jungle farm at the moment. When you have an Alchemist, you kind of have to. This is not a hero that, you know, can really be on even footing with the enemy team's carries. It needs to be ahead, and you need to snowball off of that advantage.
6-minute rune about to spawn. It looks like BetBoom is here first. I don't think Quinn's got a chance at getting this.
No, no way. Not without that remnant. So level 6, just a regen picked up here off the sniper.
It's not really that important for him, especially when he has a Caudal and Crystal Maiden on his team, but it's very annoying for Quinn to not have that rune, which is really good for any of the spirit heroes.
Yeah, he'll get his 6 remnant back to the base, refill that bottle. Overall, fairly like passive start to some of these lanes. Like, if you're the sniper team, you're kind of just hoping no one rotates into the mid lane on your sniper. But because Falcons is prioritizing the jungle so heavily, we're not seeing that kind of pressure being applied.
Yeah, I also don't think you could have done too much at the start. I mean, these are all tanky cores or long range, like in the case of sniper, so he's just far back. But now that Quinn has level 6 and he doesn't have a rune, but I think he's ready to start moving around if he sees an opportunity. But then where do you go, right? Alchemist is happy to farm. The Tidehunter is happy to just do his own thing.
All right, I gotta ask if we can get the stack counters, because I am seeing stacks being made like an absurd amount. Like yeah, oh my god.
15 stacks. We are 7 minutes in. That's actually pretty crazy.
When you have heroes who can double stack so reliably, right, in the Muerta and the Ancient Apparition, like I just saw them double stack again in the jungle that Skitter's cleaning up right now. They've placed some early vision to try and stop this, and Miro is here on the Beastmaster, just threatening him, right? He's got Roar available, but doesn't really want to commit it. It's mostly just about slowing down this Alchemist at this point.
Yeah, fortunately, you do have heroes that can steal stacks. The trouble is having to go invade into the enemy's half of the map, and that's when the Ember might rotate in and suddenly you're outnumbered deep in enemy territory. Oh my goodness, there's so many stacks actually.
Dude, this is ridiculous.
Right, this is how you get your Alga really strong. Okay, he's struggling a little. He usually doesn't do this many stacks so early.
Salve, Lotus, Wand, you know, Skitter playing right at the edge, but he'll be fine. It's worth it, you know, he's investing in his future.
Snake King will get a lot of levels in the meantime. I mean, Ancient Apparition, ever since they put AoE damage on the Ice Vortex, he's not bad at holding the lanes, and we've seen how impactful Ice Blast can be. Several stuns on his team to set it up, so they could use that to get some of these kills on these high regen heroes like the Beastmaster with the Ags, the Illuminate spam when he's in his ultimate form. And they'll have that online nice and early.
The Tidehunter, like Amar's being super efficient as well. This is not the first time we've seen him dragging this wave in the bottom side to a creep camp in the jungle to farm it up. And like you said, they're able to just kind of soak what XP they can get out of Snake King as well on this Ancient Apparition. Overall, I think things are going okay for Falcons, but we are going to have to see them ramp up the pressure with these first items out of the Alchemist. Like the Radiance Blink timing is going to be essential. Maybe he goes BKB instead early. And then depending on what Quinn builds, like this is a team that's going to have to start bringing it to BetBoom soon. Topside. This might be our first blood. Blood grenade is out. Miro trying to close the gap. The slow is coming in from... Oh my god, still nothing that they can find. He just walks away.
there's actually a farming pact. No fighting until 10 minutes.
Yeah, little did I know. There was some all chat actually in the lobby. You know, they were saying, Miro, please go easy in lane. He said no mercy, but maybe finally we'll see a rotation from Quinn as well as GPK here to the top side. Now you do have Ravage. There's the roar. They want to get this up. Dead shot off the mark actually, and there it is. First blood into the Tidehunter as Katomi taking a ton of damage here from the Ember Spirit, but Pure, he's in deep on the backside, comes through that twin gate, looking to help set up for a follow-up. Snaking very low, one more auto attack should do it, and the boys will find the kill instead. So 2 dead on Falcons and a tier 1 tower now being threatened as well. Good rotation finally coming in from BetBoom.
Bringing everyone in to win the first fight of the game.
10 minutes.
Had to wait till 10 minutes for the first 2 kills.
Oh, the stacks on the Ancient camp. That actually hurts a lot.
Yeah, that's exactly why they wanted to bring so many heroes here. You get the tower, you get these Ancients. When you spend the time to stack, it's going to be good for your team.
You need to take them.
But you need to take them. And if it gets stolen, you've invested all this time that now has benefited the enemy team. So that is a huge play from BetBoom. The Alchemist, like, this is kind of what I mean, right? Yeah, he's top net worth. 6,000. That's pretty good. There's a Beastmaster at 5,300. You know, I mean, it's not as big of a difference as we used to see in the past.
I'm always way more afraid of a farmed Beastmaster as we head into like mid, especially late game. Like this hero feels so dominant from then on if he has a really good start. And so we'll see if they can transition that, right? Like he's still got to get his Aghanim Scepter, still needs his Blink Dagger, BKB. Like he's still far away, but Miro, that Ags should be done at a pretty good time. He's about 1,100 gold away. Smoke up here though from Falcons in the mid lane. Gonna make a rotation maybe into that triangle. Finding Miro would be absolutely perfect, but
have Ice Blast.
They just need the chain set up. There's just too many creeps, and it hits the boars instead. That is an unlucky roll there for the side of Falcons, as Miro's just gonna walk back to the lane.
It's a great idea. They stole your stacks, maybe you can steal theirs, but yeah, like you said, when there's actually so many creeps, it's difficult to lane the chain.
Okay, there they get it. This time into the mid lane. Dead shot on the mark as well. Blood grenade, just everything to try and chip him down. The cold feet will not proc, so GPK with a tip, the TP home. He's going to be fine.
The TP bottom.
Yeah, never mind. He does TP in bottom. They want to put the pressure here. Amar can't get out of this one. Has a Ravage, but does not want to commit it. And the Tidehunter will die for the second time. Huge play call from BetBoom once again.
I mean, you're not expecting that. You see the sniper, you know you didn't kill him, but he fell really low. You're not expecting another play to break out immediately bottom with that rotation. And then watch, this is save, bringing the sniper top. He was mid, he's bottom, he's top, all within a minute. This is the power of recall. They're looking
for the Alchemist. Yeah, they're not going to stop playing aggressive. They know they have to slow this hero down, and so far they're doing it, right? The Ember not having a great game from mid, that was kind of expected into this matchup. They're going to bring, I think, Crystal Maiden. Yeah, so they actually recall Crystal Maiden as well. They really want Quinn here in the mid lane. They're going to force it. He gets the Remnant, but he's going to go way too close. The Roar comes out, and BetBoom once again find their target. Beautiful map movements from them.
A really nice play to bait out the Sleight of Fist with the Sniper ult, and then you knew where his Remnant was, so they just go wait by it, make sure they land the Root and the Roar. Very straightforward kill for them. Falcons, they're waiting for the Radiance, which I think is done, and then the Blink is next. Once you have the Radiance, your farm speed goes up a lot, so probably in about another minute or two, he'll have the Blink. I think with that, you have to try to take a fight. We haven't really seen them be able to orchestrate a play. They've tried that a little bit, but it hasn't found much success. You've got Ravage. When you have Radiance Blink, you need to find a fight. Alchemist is supposed to be an early game hero.
You know, it's supposed to, but that's been the problem with it. That's why we haven't really seen it picked a lot in this event, right? This hero is very feast or famine. If he doesn't completely snowball, it can feel very weak into someone like a Beastmaster or a Sniper who just, yeah, they may have like 3,000, 4,000 less gold, but they just do way more with it.
Getting tickled. Ho ho, haha.
It never gets old. He's going to be building a typical Vlad's here on that Tidehunter bottom lane. Pure, they really want to force his ult. He's got the armlet, so that will get the reincarnation. He can level it here.
Can't really pressure the towers all too much on Falcons unless you win a huge fight, because otherwise the Caudal Illuminate spam, Shrapnel from far back, Axe spam, there's so many heroes that can slow down your tower push. So you're going to need to win a big fight around Ravage, which the timing might line up. Maybe you can bring a fight down here, take the tower, take the Tormentor all at once, a huge power play.
Yeah, I think
Blink
normally
is being delivered onto the Alchemist.
Okay. So we'll see if he gets active with the Blink and the Radiance, whether or not that'll happen, or if we're going to farm towards that BKB. We'll find out. But bottom lane, they are starting to bring some heroes. Typically, you would see in a Tidehunter lane, right? You can a lot of times feel pretty confident in sieging down the tower, and he got it fairly low, but those couple of fights, less so. Bottom lane, Ice Blast into the chains. They got themselves the kill onto Pure, forcing that ult earlier. It pays off big. So the Wraith King will be the first casualty here for BetBoom.
Which is a very convenient kill right in this bottom lane, like we were saying. So
15-minute Tormentor about to
set up
spawn.
for success now. And I think you just want to wait for the Beastmaster Blink. He's getting close, about 600 more.
This is a really nice timing, actually, from Falcons. Like, you can bring your Alchemist down here very quickly and take this. He actually TPs right now, so they are exactly doing that. They want to pressure this Tormentor. They want to take this gold off the map, build a further lead, and they have really good shards. If you get lucky, right? You don't want this to go to the Muerta, so we'll see how, what Gaben will bless them with this game, but BetBoom unable to contest, and Crit, hold up, buddy, falling very low. He dies. That hurts, but they get the right shard. It goes to Snake King. You're very happy.
Sacrifice for good luck.
Absolutely necessary.
Now the thing is, the Blink is coming to the Beastmaster. We've seen the kill that just happened. You need the Ice Blast to prevent any healing coming in. Miero is now set up. Just Blink, Roar, the Ancient Apparition. There's going to be a Ravage. You don't have the BKB yet, but it's not going to matter. Like, once you've roared, all the damage is coming out, and AA is a pretty squishy hero. I think he's going to die in that time, especially if the Ravage is delayed because he's not in the same position. Once AA is down, I don't know if you have the damage to easily get any kills, at least on the cores. Maybe pick out a support, a Crystal Maiden, just walking around, you just accidentally hit her, she dies.
Okay, I finally get to talk about something that just reoccurred to me. The Alchemist is something that was in the meta for so long, but Wraith King wasn't. But the matchup is really fun because if you see the boys, you get like 500 gold out of it.
Yeah.
Mid lane, there's going to be the Blink reveal out from Miro. He's going to pop that Kraken Shell, try and buy himself a little bit of time against the Sniper. Deadshot connects, and Amar able to just walk it off, it seems. So he will be perfectly healthy, but GPK will finish off the tower here, thanks to Amplified Amateur and the rest of the team being present. And so, bottom lane, though, they do see the Alchemist. They're going to start TPing. No, they'll back away instead. Look for Roshan. You got a Beastmaster, right? You can get the Roshan already.
That's true. I also think you can attempt top, since you do have that recall. I see him bringing someone in. They have the Blink Roar. I think you can kill him in that one Roar. Oh, they actually start with Karaomi.
Yeah, Ice Blast off the mark, bottom lane, but top side. Let's see, yeah, they're not going to find anything either. Okay, both teams just trying to...
Oh, he used
find their objectives. Yeah, but here we go. Here's the Roche attempt out from Miro. Beastmaster, once you have the Ags, can very easily solo this, but with a little bit of help, it goes much quicker.
Ice Blast still on cooldown. That's the main thing you're scared of when you do this, because you do fall a little bit low. But without Ice Blast, you should be fine.
All right, there we go. First Roche of the game into the hands of Beastmaster. He'll be very happy to hold that for the next few minutes, right? Next Blink initiation, maybe. Could backfire. You never know.
Yeah, I know it's a 2K lead for Falcons, but when you have an Alchemist and it's only 2K, I think you're actually a little bit behind there. So I'm still feeling a bit worried for them. I think you're going to have to find a series of good fights around Ice Blast, and Miro, it's been a slower paced game than I expected with the Keeper of the Light, but he has been consistently farming. He's now working on the BKB, and I think he is so scary once he finishes that trio of items. Blink, Ags, BKB. I think the fights become really difficult for Falcons after that.
I definitely agree with you. I think Quinn is the one who's been struggling the most. Like, a lot of the map is being absorbed by like this Tidehunter and this Alchemist, so he's kind of just been left to pick up the scraps in the mid lane for the most part. So I think once he gets to a couple like items that he can really play around, we'll probably see something like that. But bottom lane, another recall potential here, but there is a ward that's scouting this out. Instead, they will see Snake King. There's the Roar, and this will be a very easy kill for the Beastmaster.
I mean, look how quickly AA died. So, like, imagine a Ravage comes out. Does it even matter? I think AA is still going to die, and you're going to lose so much damage at that point. So that might be a precursor of how some future fights are going to play out. That's certainly what Miro would like to find. If you can start with either the Ancient Apparition, I really feel like that's it. I'm looking at the other heroes. Ember's a good pick usually, but he's not having that great of a game. I don't think you have to prioritize him. I think it's really just Ice Blast. As soon as you take it out, you're going to lose so much damage.
Quinn digging a water rune in the river, gets caught from the roots from the Crystal Maiden, but the refresh from Caudle locks them down forever.
I mean, you can chain Frostbite. It's 3-second duration, it's a 6-second cooldown, and Keeper has Chakra Magic maxed out, so you just use it on Crystal Maiden, you have a second Frostbite.
That's a 6-second route. Wow.
Yeah, Ember, he lives on mobilities, and you just can't move for 6 seconds. Of course you're going to die.
That is a really nice find there from BetBoom. Unfortunate for Quinn, just the wrong time to, go fishing in the river.
No, if he was fishing, he could keep moving at the same time.
It's true. All right, smoke up here from Falcons, though. They got to do something, right? Like, we just finished up the BKB here on the Alchemist. That being said, the Radiance is also done on your Wraith King.
Dire's top tower.
They do see Katomi. He's going to channel the Concoction, stun up the Crystal Maiden. Should be a very easy kill. Finished off by Crit with a dead shot as they're looking for him on the backside, but they just don't find it. BetBoom, they're gone.
That's good positioning. Crystal Maiden, you lose the support. Oh well, that's okay. Everyone else got out. That is exactly what his job was, to break those type of plays. So everyone just immediately retreats.
It's been such a patient game from BetBoom. Once they got that a little bit of early momentum in the lanes, they're just fine to split the map, get whatever pickoffs they can, but then just continue farming. Because the longer this goes on, I have a lot more faith in this tricore of BetBoom than I do in the side of Falcons. And I mean, it's already paying off right now. Bottom lane, Pure. Gonna get caught though. Aurora countered in from Miro, but there's the Ravage from Amar. Alchemist is solo. He's just dead. The BKB does not protect him. Can they find another? It doesn't look like it, but that is a big commitment from Falcons, and they only get the reincarnation of the Wraith King.
It's a long cooldown, but losing an Alchemist is always very painful because of how early game this hero is. He's meant to be strong at that time, so every time you lose him, that's so much farming speed out the window, and you're missing your timing. And we got a nice replay here. He thought he could go in, he was going to farm all these skeletons, but Miero already down here. All the fast rotations we've been talking about that are possible thanks to this Keeper of the Light. Even if he is not directly recalling you into that given fight, you don't feel as bad all TPing to the same part of the map because you know he can get you around the rest to maintain map efficiency.
Yeah, they're just playing so quick. And this is just what we see with Save. He just pops one recall, is going to pop another. Actually gets canceled by the chains there, but they're going to look here for the Crystal Maiden. Dead in the water, out into the Ice Blast. They need a little bit more damage in from the Ember Spirit to finish this one off, but got to be careful. BetBoom starting to close in. All right, Crystal Maiden's dead. Wraithfire Blast on the mark. Quinn low, but will be able to get away this time. He will remnant to safety.
A little close.
A lot closer than I think we expected.
When we see the power of the Ice Blast, it is preventing the Illuminate heals, but that was, once again, just the Crystal Maiden who did deny the Amplify damage. Maybe an even trade there.
Are you saying Crystal Maiden's worth a power rune?
Dude, the Amplify damage is a good power rune. It's not a slight to Crystal Maiden, it's a compliment to the Amplify damage.
I see,
it's massive.
Very likely story.
Mm-hmm. Look, she's just getting recalled in anyways.
That's true. Yeah, she'll just be right back in the action.
Oh, he doesn't have it yet. Soon. The uptime is really good. I think that's going to get nerfed in the future. They're looking for a hero.
Ooh, that's a really good scan. Skitter immediately TPs out of danger. I don't know who did that, but they were very wise to what BetBoom was up to.
Yeah, they're going to look around. They saw the creeps moving in the camp, so they know someone was there. I think as soon as you realize no one is in this area, the TP has left. And that's, if you had the Caudle ult, you could continue. You can actually bring him bottom and just recall heroes in. It's still... oh, actually, it just got used.
He just popped it. Yeah, they're going to start doing it once again here. Caudle going for an early Aghanim Scepter as well. We've been seeing more of this. Right? It's been like the Holy Locket, and then you kind of pick and choose into what you want to go from there. But Jurgen's an Ancient Apparition, so I like the idea of, maybe focusing on some core items instead.
That's the Falcons headed mid. We still haven't really seen the huge team fight. You were expecting Ice Blast. I think that was like a scouting Ice Blast.
No, he walked right through a ward on the ledge there, and Snake King throws that Ice Blast. Just doesn't really connect, though. It's such a hard target to kill.
I'm not even sure you could kill him. Because you need the Alchemist there to actually have the damage.
Yeah, Miro's got BKB. He is not an easy kill by any means. That being said, we've seen this one before. Crystal Maiden, dead in the water. Gonna pop the Frostbite for now, as Quinn gonna try and close the gap into the freezing field. A dead shot from Crit, though, will put an end to it, and just like this, they'll grab themselves another kill against Katomi.
Is Katomi all the deaths? 3 of them. 3. Pure died once.
I mean, to be fair, there's not a lot of deaths in this game from BetBoom. It's 4 kills for Falcons to the 7. Very low kill game.
Yeah, it's a much slower pace game than I was expecting. Like, usually you see the Keeper, and it's such a fast game, especially look at the other heroes. You had the Ember, the Alchemist. I mean, this is part of the issue. You get 2 bulky heroes. Oh, no, should you feed that gold?
I don't know. I feel like Skitter is going to be happy for those critters to die here in a moment, but in comes Amar. The rest of the team from BetBoom going to try and back him up here as the heals coming through from Safe. Quinn, he's got his eyes on the sniper. That's a much bigger target. Do they have the Ravage and Ice Blast? They do, but you've lost Quinn. It's all on Skitter now. He takes down GPK. A 1-for-1 trade. The mid laners go down. I think it's hard to tell who actually comes out ahead in these fights.
I think that's at least a confidence boost for Falcons, because you've been hunting around the map for so long and all you have found is this Crystal Maiden, so you finally get a core kill on the sniper, who's been sitting really far back in as many of these fights as possible. You finally close that gap, get a kill. You're not going to lose Tormentor, though.
Yeah, second Tormentor, this one going to the side of BetBoom as it goes to the Crystal Maiden. She's very happy about that. Already has 1 root, now can have a second one to play with.
That's true, actually. This is so much root. Could Crystal clone, Frostbite, then repeat both.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
He is working on a Manta on the Ember, so he can get out of 1 of those. Then there'll be 3 more.
Yeah, I'm sure inevitably it will be a BKB for Quinn.
I like BetBoom's approach. Alchemist is a hero that drops off.
It is.
And they've tried to make plays. Several have been successful, but when you lose the sniper there, they don't feel pressured to do too much more. They grab the Tormentor, they just go back to farming.
Yeah, this is kind of a byproduct of just Alchemist in the game, right? Like, both these teams, we've seen them play a little bit more aggressive, but this is just really, like, if you're in BetBoom's shoes, like, you don't really need to play the game on, like, the way Falcons wants it played. You can kind of just do your own thing. As they're smoked up right now, a regen in the river. Save on the front line. That would be an amazing find if they can get it. The ward sentries get dropped immediately. Pure's onto the backside here. Stuns up Crit. Amar in some trouble, but we'll back away. For now, they take down the big one, the Ancient Apparition. That is no Ice Blast available as Muerta goes down as well. Alchemist has to pop the BKB and run. Amar's got no Ravage. In comes the Sniper as well. The Reincarnation will bring the Wraith King right back. Full health, looking for another kill. They've done it. 3 dead on the side of Falcons. There's the first root. Quinn cannot handle the cold that is Katomi.
That's textbook fight. You find the Ancient Apparition. There's a little bit of good luck there that your ward immediately spots him, but as soon as they identify it, they drop the Assassinate to keep track of him. The Blink Roar comes in, and then they just all run in. They're not worried about dying as soon as the Ice Blast is out of the picture. Okay, Reincarnation, but that's not really dying.
Yeah. I mean, this is the thing with, like, the Tricore, right, of BetBoom. When they are together, I think they're just infinitely stronger than Falcons right now, because you don't have a lot of damage coming out from the Ember or the Tidehunter yet. It's almost all this Alchemist. So if you see him pop a BKB early, you just kite that out. You just wait and look for the other targets. Pop your own BKBs if you want. Like, their ease of execution in these fights is huge. And okay, Illuminate doing a lot of work there after the Ice Blast expires, and the second Aegis into the hands of the Sniper this time. I think that's a great choice.
Yeah, I mean, now you can just have the Sniper hit all the buildings. It's earlier than it actually usually is, thanks to the Beast Master being able to do Roche so quickly, but the banner means you can drop it and just have Sniper keep whittling down those towers, and these are 3 melee cores. Who feels comfortable walking up to deal with the banner?
Probably Amar. I mean, I just feel like that's something he would do. Like, he's just going to walk straight in, T-pose on them, and see what happens.
I don't know if Tidehunter can T-pose. I don't know if he's got that flexibility.
I mean, he can do the belly flop. That's like half a T-pose.
All right, you sold me. But I think he'll die for it. For the record, I don't think it's good for him to try. He's too slow. He's too slow at attacking.
Yeah. All right, there's the Manta style for Quinn. Might make his life a little bit easier, but at the moment, BetBoom are so far ahead. It is a 10,000 gold advantage here as we approach 29 minutes, and you're into this Alchemist. Like, you just really don't have any real advantage that this hero is supposed to have.
Yeah. This is also a really sneaky play that you can do with Keeper. Usually, without rotations available, you would all sit behind whoever has Aegis, whoever's hitting the building, and the opponent's going to assume that. If they're smoked behind it, you have to assume they're behind Sniper, but they could be going for another play somewhere else and just recall the Sniper in. Oh, Wraith King's not there, we can take a fight. Nah, I mean, he could just be recalled in as well. So Falcons, if they don't have a bunch of wards on the map, it's very difficult to know where they can actually play.
Yeah, really nice morale here from Miro. Will get the Axe refresh, and with the Illuminate, should be enough damage to finish the job. They do. So crit, sideline for 45, dead in the water to try and do something, but Pure is found Snake King once again, trying to get away from the boys. Amar, not even tanky, it seems, against this Sniper. Oh my goodness, it is a disaster from Falcons. Falling on 3 more heroes, 5 to 15.
Falcons, they know they don't want to take a direct fight, so they're trying to split out the maps. That's what Crit was doing, and that's why the smoke was so successful. They find the support kill. Falcon still tries to take something out of that, but I love the focus on BetBoom from as soon as you see Ancient Apparition, someone get to him. I thought it was going to be Beastmaster with the Roar, but if you've already used that, now you've got the Blink Stun on Pure, the Wraith King, and Assassinate Assist from miles away.
Yeah, I mean, the Tidehunter pops the Kraken Shell active to reduce the damage, but there's so much magic damage coming out from Miro, as well as GPK. He's got a Mjolnir, right? So it just completely ignores this hero. And there's really no Kraken spell stacks, right? They have 5 kills. He hasn't built up any extra block on this at all.
Yeah, I feel like we keep seeing this happen with Alchemist.
Dude, okay,
never has as good of a start as it used to.
I didn't want to lay too hard into the Alchemist pick, but this hero went 0-10 in the last event, so I am not very confident. So I was hoping maybe we would see something different here, but it feels exactly the same.
I mean, of course, it's not just the Alch.
Self-stun from the Alch. They just jump him instead. Goodbye, Skitter. Quinn in trouble. Very nice, says Pure. Oh, man, that is about as bad as it could get.
It's going to be 2 barracks. The bottom is protected by the tier 2.
Do you back? Do you care to back?
That's true. I mean, even if you think he has buyback, he used his ultimate, right? So it's not that scary.
Okay, you get the reincarnation. Maybe you do actually back now. This was like the one thing that allows you to kind of sit on the high ground. The Aegis, you still got about a minute and a half with. So Coddle will start recalling his boys to the bottom lane to start pushing. Just good map pressure and awareness from Save once again. One of the reasons we see him love this Coddle.
I guess that was the idea, right? That maybe the Alchemist would hit his timings because he's going to farm all these skeletons, something you brought up earlier that we used to see in the past. But I think the other nerfs to Alchemist have just... he was never that far ahead of Beastmaster, you know? And I know Beastmaster's like a crazy hero, especially with all these amplifications from Keeper and Crystal Maiden, but Beastmaster scales into the late game better than an Alchemist does.
I mean, the change of the map really did change a lot, and that Ancient stack behind that top tier 1 being stolen significantly hampered his early game. And right now we're going to see Skitter jump in here, pop that concoction, try to get close to GPK, but he just doesn't have the damage. He's forced to BKB and run. The Hurricane Pie completely shut down the initiation.
All right, he's not dead, but I feel like he was just poking and they almost killed him. Like, they didn't even commit that hard. Like, none of the big spells got used.
He's like, I guess I'll use Hurricane Pike, you know, if I have to. I mean, you're just so far behind. It's a 19,000 gold advantage, and I just don't see how you can initiate these fights on the side of Falcons. It has to be a massive Ravage into Ice Blast follow-up, and you need Skitters to have his ult and BKB available. Like, everything needs to align, and it's kind of on BetBoom to make that mistake, to give Falcons that opening. We haven't seen him do that.
It's also difficult because Ice Blast, the reason it's been so good is that it helps kill a certain target so quickly.
There it is, the Ravage into the Fear. The Ice Blast connects. GPK will pop the BKB, but Pure just going to turn right around here. Try and force back the heroes. There's the Roar. It's found the Alchemist. He needs help and fast, but he will not get it. GPK snipes him down, looking for more as Crit forced back to the base. I mean, that was your best shot.
The Fountain calls.
Yeah, the Fountain does call all the Dota players. Snake King just burning to Pure here as Crit will be forced to pop the Pierce the Veil, and there it is at GG. A little bit of a whimper here from Falcons. but an incredible clean game from BetBoom as they'll start the day off with a 1-0 advantage. We're going to send it back to the panel to break down exactly what happened in this one.